Okay, so this quiz is the money and banking quiz, and let's get started. So, question number one: which of the following items in the money supply belong in the category of M2 but not M1? So, first we have to figure out what M2 and M1 mean. So, first, M1 is a metric for the money supply of a country, both paper and coins, as well as checking accounts, demand deposits, and negotiable order of withdrawal. The most liquid portion of the money supply are measured by M1 because it contains currency and assets that can be converted into cash quickly. So basically, they are cash or cash equivalent, if you will. I won't get into the definition of what a cash equivalent is, but basically, if a company needs cash or a person needs cash, this cash equivalent could be turned into what they call liquid cash, meaning that they can spend it on whatever they need to very quickly and with very little effort. So M1 is basically money, physical money, and cash equivalents. So they say checking accounts and demand deposits. So checking account meaning that it has a record of the money being in there, but it's not actually technically there because you deposit it and your bank is using the physical money for something else. But if you wanted it, then you could easily get it. All right, M2 is measure of money supply that includes all elements of M1 as well as near money. So these are checking deposits. M1 includes cash and checking deposits, and near money refers to saving deposit, money market securities, mutual funds, and other time deposits. So the reason that M2 is different than M1 is that when you have funds in a savings account or a money market security or a mutual fund, that money is there, but you can't pull it out, or you can't pull all of it out quickly and easily. A lot of times there's going to be some sort of fee or something, or that you just can't because it's tied up in an obligation. So we're looking at which belong in M2 but not M1. So we said savings accounts, timed deposits, and money market funds. So these all three involve your money being tied up in something else, whereas cash is I've got cash in my pocket and I can pay my bills. Number two, which of the following examples shows how money is a unit of value? Janet saved $50 a week for her winter vacation in the Caribbean. Betty bought her new jeans as soon as the boutique received a shipment. Diane knew she wanted a limited edition Toyota RAV4 and she comparison shopped at the 4 Toyota dealers. Sarah paid for her purchase of milk, eggs, and bread with a crisp $10 bill. Okay, so if we're looking at how money acts as a unit of value, let's start with the first one. This is how money acts as a unit of storage. So basically, she can take $50 a week, she can put it away, and then it'll all kind of come together, and she'll now have however much money for visiting the Caribbean that she's saved. The second one, Betty, that doesn't really have anything to do with money. Diane, that doesn't have to do anything with actual money either. So Sarah paid for her purchase of milk, eggs, and bread with a crisp $10 bill, because this shows how the value of that $10 bill allowed Sarah to buy milk, eggs, and bread. Match the functions of money with the appropriate term. So unit of account, medium of exchange, or store of value. So let's look at these definitions. Money is accepted by all parties as a payment for goods and services. Okay, so would this be a unit of account, medium of exchange, or store of value? If we're talking about payment for goods and services, then we're going to be talking about exchange, because we're going to be saying that somebody is going to do a service for me or provide a good to me, and then in exchange, I'm going to give them money, which is going to allow them to continue on with their business. Number two, money can be used to express worth in terms people can understand. That is going to be a unit of account, because this is going to allow us to account for how much money we have. And when I say, I have $1, that means the same thing to me as it does to almost everybody else. So basically, it has a standard value, and we can use it to account for value. So then money holds purchasing power until the buyer needs it, store of value. So basically, I can hold on to my $10 bill for as long as I need to until I actually need to buy something with it. And when I do, it's still going to be a $10 bill. Now, inflation will affect whether or not that $10 bill can buy me as much, depending on how long I hold on to it for. But otherwise, we typically consider it's a store of value. Number 4, how are goods and services bought and sold on the barter system? So we have to remember what the definition of a barter system is. That is when two people exchange goods for goods or something like that. So let's go through. People are self-sufficient and hunt and gather. That's not going to be correct because bartering has to do with making exchanges with people around you, meaning that you both don't have what you need, but the other guy does. People make purchases with credit cards. Well, that's not a barter system because we're paying for it, right? And then people make purchases with coins and currency. Well, that's not bartering. That's just flat out buying. That's just a buy-sell transaction. People trade goods and services they have for those they want. Okay. The key word here is trade. And then the key phrase is what they have for what they want. So, if I'm an Inuit and I have an animal pelt and my neighbor's got some corn, well, I'm hungry and he's cold. So I'll give him some fur and he'll give me some corn. Number 5, currently money is being used in the United States and so they're asking what it's considered. Fiat money, commodity money, specie, or reserve. Okay, fiat money has to do with, you typically don't see fiat money, so it's not fiat money. Commodity money has to do with money that is backed by some sort of good. And reserve is, I don't know, that doesn't really have anything to do with this. But the correct answer is specie, because that is when you use some sort of paper money that represents value. So, my $10 bill is only worth $10 because it has the $10 bill stuff printed on it. If it didn't have that stuff printed on it, it's just a piece of paper, right? Okay, number 6. Which function of money is involved when Sam puts his loose change in his piggy bank? So he's saving his money, right? And what do we talk about when you're holding on to your money? What it is being used as. We're not exchanging anything because we're not buying or selling. Velocity of money has nothing to do with this. Unit of account, we're not determining the standard value. So it's going to be store of value because Sam is putting, those quarters into his bank, and regardless of what happens, those quarters are worth 25 cents. And like I said, whether or not that 25 cents will buy him as much, depending on how long he holds on to them, that's different. But he still has 25 cents. Question number 7. Which of the following is an example of a barter? So remember, barter has to do with a trade of something that I have for something that I want. So this first one talks about a raffle. That's not going to be correct. This second one talks about using money to purchase Braves tickets. That's not correct. This one talks about getting money for selling Braves tickets. That's not correct. And then this one talks about Jack says he's going to mow Jill's lawn in exchange for 2 tickets. That's going to be the correct answer because in theory, Jack has a lawnmower and the time and the ability to mow the lawn, and he wants the Braves tickets, and Jill needs her lawn mowed, and she has Braves tickets. So in a lot of situations, she wouldn't be able to get her lawn mowed while having Braves tickets, but using bartering, she can trade the Braves tickets for somebody mowing her lawn instead of just paying somebody to mow it. Number 8. Which of the following characteristics are considered necessary for something to serve as money? Okay, so I looked this up, and from what I found, it's going to be all of these things. Money needs to be durable, it needs to be limited in supply, it needs to be portable, and it needs to be divisible. Let's talk about this. It needs to be durable because we don't want our money to fall apart after changing hands, twice. It needs to be limited in supply because think about when they print more money. It just decreases the value of the money that's currently in print and circulation. Portability, you need to be able to take it with you so that you can like keep it in your pocket and use it to buy things when you want to. And then divisibility, I need to be able to break it down into smaller increments. So if I've got a $10 bill, I need to be able to break it down into fives, ones, quarters, nickels, dimes, pennies, whatever. All right, number 9. Which of the following is true about the gold standard? So a gold standard is basically any time we use gold to define the value of currency. So if we look at this, gold is not durable. That's not true. Price of gold is consistent. That is definitely not true. Price of gold fluctuates and changes all the time, which is one reason some places abandon gold standard. United States is still on it. No, we are not. And if we were, we'd probably have a lot less financial trouble because you wouldn't have people creating money that doesn't exist, because you can't have any more money than you have gold. That's just the way it works. So people, created non-gold standard money so that they could expand and fluctuate the money more. So which of the following statements is true? So $1 was equal to an exact amount of gold. So that is what it's going to be based on. So right now in our economy, $1 is based on the amount of $1. And before, we actually had $1 was based on the amount of gold that you could purchase with that dollar. And that was what defined the value of $1. So a lot of credit issues can be avoided by using the gold standard, because you can't use money that you don't actually have. And I mean use in the sense of the economy cannot create more money that they don't actually have. You only have a finite amount of gold. So by using gold, you are ensuring absolutely that you are not going to have any issues with just totally blanked. You're not going to have any issues with there being too much supply. So if you remember the last one, we talked about money needs to have a lack of supply so that it is unique and holds value. And so that's the idea behind gold, is that it is extraordinarily unique and it holds a lot of value. All right, number 10. Which of the following items is not considered to be money in any form? So coins are definitely money. A debit card is tied directly to your bank account. So I would say that this is money, because a debit card is used in the same way that writing a check is used, and it's used in the same way that if I just went to the bank and withdrew cash and then paid for it with cash, it just prevents me from having to do that. Currency, that's the definition of money. And then a credit card. A credit card is not money, because a credit card is just a record of my business partnership with a credit card company. And a credit card company serves to examine me as a person and determine whether or not I'm trustworthy and deserve credit, and then will give me credit so that I can purchase things without having to pay for them at the time. So because I'm not actually paying for them at the time, I could buy something very expensive with a credit card and then never pay for it. And yeah, I'll probably get it repossessed. I still got to purchase something without actually having to spend any money. So it is not considered money. All right, so we're going to save all our responses. We're going to submit this just to make sure we didn't miss any. Oh, looks like we missed a couple. Money as a unit of value allows people to compare prices and values. Oh, I guess this was supposed to be Diane. I don't agree with that. It's a dumb question. I'll be honest with you. And then secondly, money being used in the United States that's interesting, because when I looked that up, that's what it said it was. Let's look up fiat money. So fiat money, I guess fiat money is the correct, oh, okay. Interesting. So I think technically, we do use specie as money because we use coins. We don't just use paper money, right? So again, really dumb question. I don't agree with it because technically we use fiat money and specie because we do have coins that are hard and made of metal, and then we have, and I believe that let's see. The same kind of money and coin, identical shape. Yeah, bad questions, honestly. Just know that's the answer they're looking for. That they're saying that money is a unit of value because it allows her to compare, and then money in the United States is fiat money because it is paper money. Although we did have coins, and we do still have coins that can be used as legal tender. But I think, like I said before, a lot of times the value of the metal, silver or gold, within a coin will frequently be more than the actual printed value of the coin. So you can start to see how using fiat money and assigning kind of what are really arbitrary values that don't have any backing, the kind of complications that it can cause. Because, like I said, you've got coins that are some amount in gold, but they've got, a dollar printed on it. Okay, well, technically, when I buy something from somebody, it's only worth $1. But if I were to take that gold coin to somewhere that melts down gold, it might be worth way more than $1. In fact, it probably is if it has real gold in it. So just things to keep in mind. All right, so let's finish that, and then we will work on the business forms assignment.